Dear learners, I, Mr. Vishal Shah, once again welcome you all to this my YouTube channel for another session in the chapter UV visible spectroscopy. Now in previous video we have started with the instrumentation part of the UV visible spectrophotometer, in which briefly we have seen how UV visible spectrophotometer is working. We have seen the detailed instrumentation of the working of the single beam UV spectrophotometer. Now those students who are watching this particular video or they have not seen the previous video, just I request you to go through previous video so that you can understand the concepts of this video. And if you like the video, please share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, before starting with this session, just we will see what are the learning outcomes of this session. After this session, students will be able to explain the instrumentation of the UV visible spectroscopy. Now, if you remember the components of the UV visible spectrophotometer, we have seen the first component of the UV spectrophotometer is the radiation source. Now we know that there are 5 different types of radiation sources are there, which emits the radiations either in the UV region or the visible region, which is ranging from 200 to 800 nanometer. Now two widely used radiation sources are, one is the tungsten lamp and other one is the hydrogen discharge lamp. These two radiation source already we have discussed. Now just I will revise how the hydrogen discharge lamp is working, because the next lamp, that the deuterium lamp that we are going to study, the working of this is similar to the hydrogen discharge lamp. Now in these particular light sources, the hydrogen gas is stored under the high pressure, and when the electric current is passed through this hydrogen gas, the hydrogen molecules that are present, they becomes excited, and when these hydrogen molecules are excited, they emit the radiations, and these radiations are falling under the UV range. And due to the use of high pressure in the hydrogen lamp, it causes hydrogen to emit the continuous spectrum rather than the simple hydrogen spectrum. The hydrogen discharge lamp is working in the range of 1200 angstrom to 3500 angstrom. Now this is the widely used light source is there, because it is very stable, robust, as well as it is very easy to use, and for that purpose these hydrogen discharge lamps are widely used in the UV visible spectrophotometer. Now next lamp that we are going to discuss in today's session is a deuterium lamp, which is similar to the hydrogen discharge lamp, where hydrogen gas is replaced by the deuterium. Now we know that deuterium is the isotope of the hydrogen, so this deuterium is replaced hydrogen is replaced by the deuterium. Now what is the advantage of this use of deuterium? The intensity of radiation is 3 to 5 times more as compared to the hydrogen discharge lamp, and that's why whatever the transmitted light is there, the intensity of that transmitted light is more, and which can be easily detected by our detector, and that's why these deuterium lamps are having more advantages, but they are more expensive as compared to the hydrogen discharge lamps. So only advantage is that intensity of radiation is 3 to 5 times more. Now they are used when we require the high intensity of light. In that case only these lamps are utilized. Only change is that only instead of the hydrogen we are here going to use the deuterium. So when electric current is passed through this deuterium gas, whatever the hydrogen molecules are there, they will go to the excited state. Once they go to the excited state, they will emit the radiations which are falling under the UV range, and this radiation are allowed to pass through your entrance slit. Now, third lamp or radiation source that is used in the UV visible spectrophotometer is xenon discharge lamp. Here again, instead of hydrogen gas, xenon gas is used. Now this xenon gas we can store under the high pressure, around about 10 to 30 atmospheric pressure can be used for storing this particular xenon lamp. Now these xenon lamps are generally consisting of two electrodes. One is positive, other one is the negative. These two electrodes are separated by the distance of 8 millimeter, and when intense arc is formed between two tungsten electrodes by applying a low voltage, the ultraviolet light is produced. Now the light that is produced is of high intensity as compared to the hydrogen lamp, due to which also the transmitted light from these types of the lamps is more. So this is about the xenon discharge lamp. And last lamp that is mainly used is mercury arc, where here the mercury vapors are used and they are stored under the high pressure, and excitation of mercury atom is done by the electric discharge, and due to which whatever the mercury vapors are there, they are excited, and due to which they emit the radiations in the range of the UV range. Mercury arc is not suitable for continuous spectral studies because of presence of sharp lines or the bands, and due to which low pressure arc is useful for calibration. Arc is means what? The filaments or the light or radiation source, so they are working when electric current is passed through these particular metals. So this is about the various lamps that are used in the UV visible spectrophotometry, starting from tungsten lamp, then hydrogen discharge lamp, deuterium lamp, xenon discharge lamp, and the last one is the mercury arc. So this is the first component of the UV visible spectrophotometry. Then second component that is used in the UV visible spectrophotometry is monochromators. Now as I said earlier, monochromators are consisting of three components. These three components are entrance slit, then either prism or grating. These prisms or grating are also known as the dispersion system or dispersion medium. Dispersion medium means what? When a light, which is a mixture of 7 different components, fall on this dispersion medium, it will carry out the dispersion of light into its 7 individual components. That's why they are known as the dispersion medium. And third part that is present in the monochromators is exit slit. Now we know the role of entrance slit as well as the exit slit. They will allow the passage of the only certain amount of light through, because they are having a very small hole in between. So that is the role of entrance slit as well as the exit slit. Now whatever the dispersion element that is to be utilized, it will carry out the conversion of heterochromatic radiation into its component wavelength. Now the position of dispersing element is always adjusted by rotating it to a that particular component into the various direction, and due to which what happens, whatever the individual components are there, these individual components are also rotated and they are allowed to pass through the exit slit as shown in the instrumentation of that particular UV visible spectrophotometer. Now the dispersing element may be of prism or grating. Now prisms are generally made up of the glass, quartz as well as the fused silica. The glass is having highest resolving power, but it is having disadvantage that it is not transparent to the radiations, having the wavelength between the 200 nanometer to 300 nanometer, and due to which it is not suitable for radiations that are falling under this particular range. Now glass absorbs strongly in this region. Also, quartz and fused silica prisms are transparent throughout the entire UV range and widely used in the UV visible spectrophotometers. But instead of prisms, generally gratings are used. Gratings means what? Now, as I have shown in the first diagram that already we have seen, that gratings are consisting of so many number of ups and downs, and these particular gratings are having different parallel lines, and each parallel line is acting as a single prism, and as it is a combination of the different lines, the whatever that particular efficiency of grating to carry out the separation of the heterochromatic light into its individual component is more. And for that purpose, generally in case of monochromators, the gratings are generally used because they are having this particular advantage. In 1 inch square meter, around about 1200 to 1800 gratings are present. It may vary depending upon the type of the instrument. Now it is used to carry out the dispersion of the radiation according to its individual component, that is the wavelength. Now, as I said, it consisting of three components. One is the entrance slit, other one is the exit slit, and third component is dispersion medium. Now this dispersion medium may be prism or the grating. Gratings that are used are also made up of glass as well as the quartz. Also sometimes they are made up of the alkali metals also, which are suitable for the IR spectroscopy. But if we are using it for the purpose of the UV visible spectroscopy, then the generally glass or quartz is the material that is to be utilized. Actually, gratings are very difficult for the preparation. Therefore, replica gratings are prepared from the original grating. Replica gratings means what? There is application of the film of epoxy resin is carried out on the surface of original grating, and which after setting is removed to yield the replication process. The replica is made reflective by aluminizing its surface. So this is the difference between the replica gratings as well as the normal grating. Usually some spectrophotometers are also consisting of the about 15,000 to 30,000 lines per square inch that are drawn for the ultraviolet as well as the visible region. So these small or tiny parallel lines are there. That's why the intensity of light that is to be produced is also more. And that's why generally gratings are used or preferred over the prisms. Quartz gratings, which are transparent over the UV visible region, they are generally preferred over the glass gratings. So this is about the different monochromators that are used in the UV visible spectroscopy. Then next component that is to be used is sample holder. The role of sample holder, as we know, they are used to hold the sample solution. Generally, sample holders are also made up of the glass and quartz. Depending upon the application, they can be utilized. Glass material is only suitable over the UV region because visible radiations are absorbed by the glass material, and due to which they are not suitable. But quartz material that is used, that quartz material is transparent over the UV as well as the visible region. So sample holders that are having the quartz material, they are preferred, but they are more expensive as compared to the glass material that is to be used. So these are the various components. Remaining components we will study in the next video, that is the detectors that are used in the UV visible spectrophotometry. So this is about some part of the instrumentation. Now here there is exercise for you. You have to go to this particular website and answer the questions that are given by using given password. Thank